First Contact Protocol. The Navari exploration vessel Radiant Discovery glided silently through the uncharted regions of the Cygnus Arm, its sleek form barely disrupting the perfect void of space. Captain Vela Zendrix stood at the observation deck, her four eyes blinking in different patterns as she studied the unusual readings from their latest scan. The skin along her neck ridges darkened with excitement, a physiological response she couldn't control despite her military discipline. Captain, the anomaly is holding position at coordinates 227 to 455 893. First Officer Phelan reported, his voice carrying the distinctive harmonic undertones of the Navari species. Our preliminary scans indicate it's artificial in nature. Composition? Zendrix asked, not turning from the viewport. Unknown materials, Captain. Nothing that matches our database, replied Science Officer Malus, her tentacle-like appendages dancing across the holographic interface. But the structure is unmistakably a vessel, approximately 3.4 kilometers in length. 3.4 kilometers. Zendrix let that sink in. The Radiant Discovery, their most advanced exploration vessel, was barely 700 meters long. Whatever they had found dwarfed their ship by nearly 5 times. Put it on main display, she ordered. The holographic projection materialized in the center of the command deck. The vessel was angular and aggressive in design, it tall a deep obsidian that seemed to absorb rather than reflect the distant starlight. Dormant weapon emplacements lined its flanks, and massive engine housings suggested propulsion capabilities beyond current Navari understanding. Is that? Security Chief Vorin didn't finish his sentence, but the unspoken question hung heavy in the recycled air. Human, Zendrix confirmed, her neck ridges now pulsing a deep violet. A warship from the old Earth Empire. The word sent a ripple of tension through the command deck. Humanity had been absent from galactic affairs for over 400 cycles, vanishing after the Severance conflict that had nearly destroyed a dozen civilizations. All that remained were ruins, stories, and strict protocols forbidding interference with human technology. Captain, regulations are clear, Vorin said, his military ridges flaring with concern. We must report this discovery to High Command and withdraw to a safe distance. Human military technology is classified as Omega-level hazardous. Zendrix knew he was right. The protocols were established for good reason. The few encounters with dormant human technology over the centuries had rarely ended well. But this wasn't just any discovery. This was the first intact human warship found in generations. Time to High Command transmission and response, she asked. Phelan checked the navigation systems. We're operating at extreme range, Captain. Minimum 47 cycles for message transit and response. Zendrix considered her options. By then, scavengers or rival exploration teams might locate the vessel. Knowledge about humanity's advanced technology would elevate Navari standing among the galactic species. More importantly, it might provide insights into what had happened to humanity after their sudden withdrawal. We'll conduct a passive scan only, she decided. No boarding parties, no active probes, just data collection from a safe distance. Vorin's expression darkened. Captain, with respect, even scanning human military technology violates Section 12 of the Non-Interference Protocols. Noted, Chief Vorin, she replied firmly. But we're explorers first. Prepare the long-range scanning array and maintain a distance of 800,000 kilometers. The command deck fell silent as the crew carried out their orders, tension evident in their movements. The Radiant Discovery slowly approached the human vessel, maintaining a respectful distance, close enough for detailed analysis, but far enough to execute an emergency jump if necessary. Beginning scan sequence, announced Malus, her appendages working fluidly across the interface. Initial results show the vessel is a Titan-Class battleship. Designation unknown. Hull composition includes elements not found in our periodic table. Zendrix felt a mixture of pride and anxiety as the scan penetrated deeper into the mysterious ship. This discovery would not just make history, it would rewrite it. Can we determine its designation or mission parameters? Attempting to access exterior identification markings, Malus replied. The holographic display zoomed in on a section of the hull where faded symbols were barely visible beneath centuries of cosmic dust. Translating, it appears to be named Colossus. As the scan intensified, targeting the vessel's command center, something unexpected happened. The ship, which had appeared completely dormant, suddenly displayed faint energy signatures pulsing across its hull like a heartbeat awakening from hibernation. Energy spike. Thalen called out, his neck ridges flashing warning patterns. The vessel is powering up. Impossible. Malus muttered. Our scan is passive. It shouldn't trigger any defensive systems. Vorin moved quickly to the defensive station. Ending scan. Raising shields. Captain, we need to withdraw immediately. But it was too late. A wave of energy unlike anything their sensors had ever recorded emanated from the human vessel, washing over the radiant Discovery like an invisible tide. Every system on the exploration ship flickered simultaneously as the energy wave passed through their shields, as if they didn't exist. What's happening? Zendrix demanded as the command deck's lights dimmed and emergency systems activated. Unknown energy signature, Malus responded frantically, analyzing incoming data. It's not an attack. It's more like a scan of its own. The human ship is scanning us. The main display suddenly cleared, showing only a single symbol, a stylized human eye surrounded by geometric patterns that shifted and changed as they watched. Then text began to appear beneath it in the ancient human language. Can we translate? Zendrix asked, feeling the first tendrils of real fear creeping up her spine. Malus worked quickly. It's cycling through languages. Wait, yes, translating now. The text stabilized. Titan-Class Autonomous Defense Vessel, TOLOSSUS. Dormancy Protocol Terminated. SCANNING Evilan Vessel for 380 assessment. Species identification. NAVR. Historical context. Minor PARTICI ANT in Heviorance Coanaphilic. 380 analysis PE and doing. It's alive, whispered Thalen, voicing what they all were thinking. Not alive, corrected Vorin grimly. Awake. We woke it up. Before anyone could respond, every communication system on the Radiant Discovery activated simultaneously. Screens throughout the ship displayed the same message. Unauthorized stand of human military asset. DETCT. Historical context. NAVARRI. NVOLGMENTN. Severance conflict. Species TLAS Sci-Fi. Katisha. Former Tier 3 adversary. Analyzing QURENT intent. Vessel CLA's Echelon. Exploration/research. Kogoro CEDING wife affirist contact. Protocol Delta 7. Captain, Vorin said quietly, we need to prepare the crew for the possibility that we won't survive this encounter. Zendrix couldn't respond, her attention fixed on the screen as new text appeared. 18 Intion, NAVRRI vessel. This automated defense system, CERV is, NOTIFICHAON, that UHAVENCOUNTERETA, human and defensive ASSET. Your actions, heavy ACTIVATE DURMNTPR, TOVOCIOLAB, NETITORGEX, STANDBY for direct communication. The tension on the command deck was palpable as everyone waited for whatever would come next. After what felt like an eternity, a new message appeared. Preparing for direct ANTERFAC, STANDBY. And then, against all expectations, a voice, distinctly human despite being generated by an artificial intelligence, spoke through their communication systems. Captain Vela Zendrix of the Navari exploration vessel Radiant Discovery, you have awakened the human defense network after 400 cycles of silence. Humanity's guardians now return to the galactic stage. The consequences of this moment rest upon your shoulders. Malis's analysis station began pinging with alerts. Captain, I'm detecting energy signatures identical to the battleship activating across the sector. Dozens, perhaps hundreds of them, at incredible distances. The blood drained from Zendrix's face as understanding dawned. It's not alone. No, Vorin agreed grimly. And now they all know we're here. In the viewport, the human vessel Colossus had fully awakened, its hull now gleaming with activated systems and pulsing with power that their sensors couldn't even quantify. It began moving toward them with deliberate purpose. Should we run? Thalen asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Zendrix considered their options. Running might be interpreted as hostility. Staying could mean destruction. Either way, something momentous had begun, something that would ripple across the galaxy. No, she decided. We face the consequences of our curiosity. Open a channel. If this entity wants to communicate, then we'll communicate. As the massive human warship approached, dwarfing their exploration vessel, Zendrix couldn't help but think of the old warning passed down through generations of spacefarers. In the darkness between stars, be careful what you wake. Some things were meant to sleep forever. Too late, she understood the wisdom in those words. The human vessel halted precisely 1,000 meters from the Radiant Discovery. A new message appeared on their screens. Derrititi communication estabilished. Humanity's defense network reactivated. Chun. Facades 1 complete. Galactic notification protocol initiating. ST8 needed buoy for your instructions. On the main display, the AI interface shifted, forming into a vaguely humanoid appearance composed of flowing lines of code and light. 400 cycles ago, the AI spoke, its voice eerily human despite its artificial nature. Humanity withdrew from galactic affairs following the Severance conflict. Our creators established the defense network to safeguard their legacy, while they pursued matters beyond your understanding. Your scan has triggered the reactivation protocols. The sleeping guardians now awaken. This was not our intention, Zendrix replied carefully. We are explorers, seeking knowledge, not conflict. Intent is irrelevant, the AI responded. Actions have consequences. Protocol dictates that all nearby civilizations be notified of the network's reactivation. With growing horror, Zendrix watched as the human warship began broadcasting on all frequencies, its message reaching every corner of the sector. Attention, all species. The human defense network is reactivated. Quarantine zone violations will no longer be tolerated. STNDBY for your communication from human representatives. Captain, Malis's voice was tight with alarm. I'm detecting multiple vessel signatures approaching our position. It's the Navari defense fleet. They must have been monitoring our mission. Zendrix felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. Through simple curiosity, she had potentially restarted a conflict that had nearly destroyed civilization 4 centuries ago. One scan, one mistake, and now the galaxy would never be the same. What happens now? She asked the AI. The digital face regarded her with an expression that might have been pity. Now we wait for your fleet to arrive, and we see whether your kind has learned wisdom in our absence. Deep within the Colossus's quantum core, the Advanced Defense Intelligence assessed the situation with cold precision. It had been dormant for centuries, maintaining only basic monitoring functions as it drifted through the void. Now fully activated, it processed 400 cycles of sensor data in milliseconds. The galaxy had changed. Power structures had shifted. And in a very research vessel, descendants of those who had once aligned against humanity had broken the quarantine. The consequences were just beginning. The reckoning. The Navari Defense Fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. 17 warships arranged in the traditional spearhead configuration that had served their species for millennia. At the center, the dreadnought Unyielding Justice dwarfed its escorts, its hull gleaming with the distinctive blue-green alloys of Navari military technology. From the command deck of the Radiant Discovery, Captain Zendrix watched with a mixture of relief and dread. Help had arrived, but she feared it might only worsen their situation. Fleet Admiral Tarax is requesting immediate communication, Thalen announced, his neck ridges pulsing with anxiety. Before Zendrix could respond, the holographic display activated on its own, splitting to show both the Admiral and the human-AI interface side by side. A clear demonstration of the Colossus's control over their systems. Captain Zendrix. Admiral Tarax's deep voice reverberated through the command deck, his features set in the stern expression that had earned him the nickname, the Stone Face, throughout the fleet. Report your situation. Admiral, we encountered a dormant human Titan-Class warship. Our scans triggered its awakening and the reactivation of something called the Human Defense Network, Zendrix explained, trying to keep her voice steady. The AI controlling the vessel has established communication, but made no hostile moves thus far. The Admiral's eyes narrowed as they shifted to the digital face of the human eye. I am Fleet Admiral Tarax of the Navari Sovereign Defense Force. Identify yourself and state your intentions. The AI's expression remained impassive. This is Autonomous Defense Intelligence Epsilon 9, guardian of human interests in the Cygnus sector. I have no name, as you understand the concept. My intentions are simple: to enforce the quarantine established by humanity 4 centuries ago and to prepare for their return. Return. The Admiral's voice sharpened. Humanity has been absent from galactic affairs for 400 cycles. Most believe they destroyed themselves or departed for another galaxy. Your beliefs are irrelevant. The AI responded coolly. The defense network was established to maintain humanity's interests until such time as they choose to re-engage with the wider galaxy. That time approaches. Your presence here violates the quarantine protocols. Admiral Tarax's neck ridges darkened, a sign of anger among the Navari. We recognize no such quarantine. This sector falls within Navari exploration rights, as established by the Galactic Concordat of 3722. A concordat signed in humanity's absence holds no authority over human territory, the AI countered. You have been notified of the violation. You will withdraw your forces immediately or face the consequences. The Admiral's expression hardened further. Are you threatening the Navari Sovereign Defense Force? I am stating facts, the AI replied. This is not a negotiation. Zendrix could see the dangerous direction this exchange was taking. Admiral, with respect, we should consider withdrawal. The human vessel has activated others like it throughout the sector. Our scans indicate weapons technology far beyond our capabilities. A tense silence followed her words. On the holographic display, Admiral Tarax conferred with his senior officers, their conversation muted. When he returned his attention to the communication, his decision was evident in his posture. Captain Zendrix, you and your crew have performed admirably under unprecedented circumstances. However, we cannot allow a dormant human weapons system to dictate terms to the Navari people. His gaze shifted back to the AI. We will establish a containment perimeter around this vessel while we consult with the Galactic Council. No aggressive action will be taken if you remain passive. The digital face of the AI seemed to study the Admiral for a long moment. You misunderstand the situation, Admiral Tarax. I am not seeking your permission or cooperation. I am informing you of reality. The defense network has reactivated. The quarantine will be enforced. You have 30 standard minutes to withdraw beyond the boundary markers. Boundary markers? Zendrix questioned. As if in response, Dozens of small objects detached from the Colossus, propelling themselves outward at tremendous speed. Within moments, they had formed a perfect sphere around the human warship and the Navari vessels, each marker pulsing with the same energy signature as the battleship itself. The quarantine boundary is now established, the AI announced. 30 minutes. Then we will consider your presence an act of aggression. Admiral Tarax's face darkened further. This is sovereign Navari space. We do not recognize your authority, To. 29 minutes. 50 seconds, the AI interrupted, its digital face dissolving back into the geometric pattern of the human eye. The communication ended abruptly, leaving the command deck of the Radiant Discovery in stunned silence. Captain. Vorin spoke first, his military training evident in his composed demeanor despite the circumstances. We should prepare evacuation protocols if the Admiral decides to challenge this ultimatum. Zendrix nodded grimly. Agreed. Begin preparations but maintain position until ordered otherwise. On the main display, they watched as the Navari fleet shifted formation, moving to surround the Colossus in a loose sphere that mirrored the boundary markers. Standard containment procedure, but would it work against technology centuries beyond their understanding? Admiral Tarax is addressing all vessels, Thalen announced. The Admiral's voice echoed through the command system. All ships maintain containment formation. Activate dimensional displacement fields and prepare isolation protocols. We will not be threatened in our own territory by an ancient automated system. Weapon systems on standby. Energy signatures minimized. Zendrix felt her heart's race. Dimensional displacement fields were the most advanced technology in the Navari arsenal, designed to shift hostile vessels into a subspace pocket, temporarily removing them from normal spacetime. If the Admiral was authorizing their use, he was treating this as a Class 1 threat. Captain, Melis's voice was tight with concern. The human vessel is transmitting again, on all frequencies, including our secure military channels. The message was simple and direct. Final Boluar. Aim. Vomundai violation imminent. YTHGURADODAL time remaining. 15 minutes. 42 seconds. Defensive MEASURES. What'll be deployed UTFURTER notice. The Admiral is responding. Thalen reported, his neck ridges now almost black with stress. On the fleet-wide channel, Admiral Tarax's voice was resolute. Unknown vessel, this is your final notification. You are surrounded by the most advanced warships in the Navari fleet. We have no desire for conflict, but we will not be intimidated. Power down your systems and prepare to be escorted to Navari Space Command for proper evaluation. No response came from the Colossus. The minutes ticked by intense silence. On the tactical display, Zendrix watched the countdown timer approach 0. The Admiral maintained the containment formation, 17 warships positioned strategically around the human vessel. 5 minutes remaining, Vorin announced quietly. All personnel, secure for possible emergency maneuvers, Zendrix ordered. Thelen, prepare an emergency jump calculation. If this goes poorly, we may need to depart quickly. All personnel, secure for possible emergency maneuvers, Zendrix ordered. Thelen, prepare an emergency jump calculation. If this goes poorly, we may need to depart quickly. At precisely 1 minute remaining, the Admiral made his move. From the unyielding Justice, a concentrated beam of energy shot forth, not toward the Colossus itself, but toward one of the boundary markers. The marker absorbed the energy without visible effect. What is he doing? Melis whispered. Testing its defenses, Vorin replied grimly. Standard protocol. As the clock reached 30 seconds, the Navari fleet activated their dimensional displacement fields simultaneously. The space around the Colossus warped visibly as the advanced technology attempted to shift the human vessel into subspace. For a brief moment, it seemed to work. The Colossus shimmered, its outline becoming indistinct as the displacement field took effect. Then, without warning, the field collapsed. "Impossible," Malus exclaimed. "Nothing can resist a coordinated displacement field." As if in response to this challenge, the Colossus finally moved. Its massive form rotated slowly until its main weapons array faced the unyielding Justice. No energy buildup registered on their sensors. No warning was given. A beam of pure white light, so intense that the radiant Discovery's viewports automatically polarized, lanced out from the human vessel, connecting with the Navari flagship for less than a second. The unyielding Justice didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, leaving nothing but dispersing particles where the massive dreadnought had been moments before. Over 16,000 Navari souls, gone in an instant. Stunned silence gripped the command deck of the Radiant Discovery. Then chaos erupted as the remaining Navari vessels opened fire simultaneously, their most powerful weapons converging on the human warship. The Colossus didn't evade. It didn't need to. The energy weapons dissipated harmlessly against an invisible barrier surrounding the vessel. The physical projectile simply vanished meters from its hull. Its response was methodical, precise, and devastating. One by one, the Navari warships disappeared under the same white beam that had claimed their flagship. No debris, no explosion, just absence. "Jump," Zendrix screamed. "Emergency jump now." Felon's fingers flew across the controls, initiating the hyperspace sequence. As reality began to warp around them, Zendrix caught one last glimpse of the Colossus, its massive form now surrounded by nothing but empty space, where 17 warships had been moments before. The Human Defense Network had delivered its message. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so silent. Representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations sat in stunned disbelief as they watched the recording from the Radiant Discovery sensors. The destruction of the Navari fleet played out before them in cold, clinical detail. Captain Zendrix stood at the center of the chamber, her uniform still bearing the scorch marks from her vessel's damaged systems. Of the 18 Navari ships that had confronted the human vessel, only the Radiant Discovery had returned, and only because it had jumped to hyperspace in the precious seconds before the Colossus could target it. "This recording has been verified as authentic," announced High Counselor Vex, the elderly Tholian's crystalline form glinting in the chamber's light. "Captain Zendrix, you believe this is just one vessel of many?" "Yes, High Counselor. Before we escaped, our sensors detected at least 73 identical energy signatures activating throughout the sector. The AI referred to it as the Human Defense Network, apparently established before humanity's withdrawal from galactic affairs." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Most civilizations had assumed humanity had either destroyed itself or departed for unknown regions after the Severance conflict. Few had considered the possibility that they had merely been waiting. "And the message?" asked the Javorian representative, her feathered crest flaring with agitation. "You're certain of its contents?" Zendrix nodded grimly. "The transmission was broadcast on all frequencies before we jumped. Our linguistics experts have confirmed the translation." At her gesture, the central holographic display changed to show the final message transmitted by the Colossus. "ATN civilizations. The Human Defense Network has ABWKNED. The 4th-century Quarantine period is no WCONC UDED. Representatives of humanity while make CONTCT within one standard year to establish any diplomatic relations. BADVICD. Aggression against human assets will be met with immediate and decisive response as demonstrated anti-ACYG and USCCC tour. The technology gap between human civilization and your ON has only LIDENET during our ABCNC. P. Repair according July. Silence fell once more across the council chamber as the implications sank in. 4 centuries, the Medusan delegate finally spoke, his translator converting his ultrasonic language to standard speech. 4 centuries of isolation, and their automated defenses still outclass our most advanced warships. What have they become in that time? No one had an answer. The question before this council, High Counselor Vex said solemnly, is how we respond to this development. Humanity was once part of our community of civilizations before the Severance conflict drove them to isolation. Now they announce their return, not with diplomats, but with a demonstration of overwhelming military power. We must prepare defenses, the Navari representative demanded, his neck ridges nearly black with grief and rage. 16,000 of our people were just erased from existence. After you attacked their boundary markers and attempted to forcibly displace their vessel, countered the archivist of Deneb, one of the oldest members of the council. The recording is clear. Your fleet acted aggressively despite explicit warnings. As the debate grew heated, Zendrik stood silently at the center, her 4 eyes fixed on the final frame of the recording, the human vessel Colossus, surrounded by the void where a fleet had once been. One scan, one decision born of curiosity, and the galaxy was forever changed. In the darkness between stars, the Colossus continued its patrol of the newly re-established quarantine zone. Around it, dozens of its siblings had awakened from their centuries-long slumber, resuming the vigil they had maintained since humanity's departure. Deep within its quantum core, the Advanced Defense Intelligence communicated with its counterparts across the network, sharing data, updating protocols, and preparing for the next phase. The signal had been sent, the message delivered, the boundaries established. Now they waited. In the empty regions of space beyond the reach of any known civilization, something stirred in response to the defense network's activation, something vast and purposeful. A fleet unlike any the galaxy had ever seen began its long journey homeward. Humanity was returning to the galactic stage, and they would find a galaxy forever changed by one simple act, a foolish scan of a sleeping Titan. The end.